What's up? Welcome back to my channel, or for the first time if you're new, I'm Sylvan, and today I'm going to be reacting to Emilie's character teaser. It just came out, and I'm curious to see what it's about. I didn't really process when I was reacting to her character demo that they switched the order of things, but over the last few days I was like, hey, wait a minute, the demo doesn't usually come out a week before that's the teaser. But whatever, they have it here. I wonder if that's a mistake or if they're trying something new. Doesn't really matter, just a sort of odd thing I noticed. But we're here now, so let's check this out.
A perfume can tell you a lot about the person wearing it.
Yeah.
Mint and fruity aromas express a yearning for youthful vigor, while notes of cedar and amber show a desire to appear mature.
Okay. I know literally
and though
nothing
a
about
fragrance fades
perfume,
with
so...
dilution, evaporation, and aging, so long as you filter out the impurities to remove interference, the perfume will still tell its story. The top note is citrus and tea leaves, with neroli and roses coming through in the middle note, and a grounded, woody bass note. A very heavy
I'm liking this
fragrance
visually already.
with great longevity, rather on the expensive side. Rest in peace. Perfume can tell you a lot.
Oh, jumping
Even
to
when
the other side of her.
the wearer can no longer speak for themselves.
We'd arranged to go camping up on the summit. But when I got up there, I couldn't find her. She must have slipped and fallen.
That's her friend's statement. What do you make of it?
It's unusual to meet at the summit, especially for someone who's never been mountain climbing before. The claim that she fell is a lie.
The fucking glasses.
Why so sure?
There was no sweat among the impurities present, and no lady in their right mind would apply such a heavy fragrance before a climb.
Okay. Interesting. So there's a few things I want to check out here. I like that it starts, once again, with her usual just perfume stuff, pretty much what we saw in her demo. Her talking about, in a greater detail in this case, the exact details and nature of various scents and fragrances, and the process of developing that, and the intent behind them, the meaning behind them, that kind of thing. Which is cool, I like it. It's very fitting of her character. It gets really into what she puts her focus on, and then we have just this hard cut, pretty much. It's not like harsh, but it's just immediate cut to a dead body. And when I first saw this, my immediate thought was that I knew that she had connections to doing forensic work, but perfume and stuff plays a part in some mortuary work as well, from what I understand, because, you know, you gotta make the corpse not smell like a corpse. And it made me just wonder if she has any work in that side of things as well. I haven't heard anything that she does, but just a thought I had that it could also be a piece to all of this. Tying into the end bit and the beginning bit, I really like this as the bridge to the two halves of the phrase, even when people cannot speak for themselves, perfume can tell you a lot. As it opened with her saying how much perfume can tell you about a person, what their intent in the perfume they chose is, that kind of thing. But then in this side, it takes a different context, because it applies to the idea that by the choice of perfume and the fragrance that the body is giving off, both at the crime scene and once brought back, can be a key piece of evidence in the nature of the death, which is used here to poke holes in the story of this lady, which it's clearly implying here this was probably a murder this lady is trying to cover up of killing her friend. We get literally no other context to that, and I mean, really, for the most part, this is all just speculation, but I mean, hey, she is like a part-time forensics worker, not a detective, so I think it's fine for her to not really be strictly hard evidence, but, you know, regardless of how good detective work it is, it does a good job of showing her knowledge set, her intelligence, that kind of thing. Regardless, if we're to take her on her word of these details, meeting at the summit of a mountain when you aren't an experienced mountain climber to camp is certainly interesting. It's not impossible, but I feel like if you aren't used to camping, probably wouldn't make sense to be your first move. So if I'm taking her word that that is like something known about the victim, that makes sense. I agree with her there. And then she calls out the claim that she fell as a lie. I'm assuming that she did fall, but presumably not in an accidental sense. I assume that's more what she's saying. And the reason that she gives is there was no sweat among the impurities present, which ties into what she was saying before about impurities, and with a lack of them you can see intent in things based on fragrances and stuff. Well, and then if you add in this next bit of no lady in their right mind would apply such a heavy fragrance before a climb, I guess the idea that she was wearing a heavy perfume and had no real experience in mountain climbing and wasn't sweating, meaning that, once again, purely speculation, more so than even she was doing. But I like mysteries, so, roll with me here. She wasn't sweating, which would imply that she didn't climb the summit. Because if she had climbed the summit, especially if she wasn't used to rock climbing, or even hiking, she presumably would have been sweating if she had done those things. So she didn't do those, if that is the case. Meaning that she was killed in some other way than falling. Intentionally or otherwise, this could have just been like a panic cover-up move of like, she died accidentally, but the friend would be responsible, so whatever. That gets into intent, which we have no way of knowing. But dies in some way, and the friend tries to cover it up. Presumably by probably planting the body at the base of the mountain and being like, oh no, she fell, and going and getting somebody and being like, help, my friend fell, I need to find her. Yeah, that kind of thing. So, with literally just what the corpse smelled like after being found, that is, once again, purely speculation, but a strong scenario that can be formulated. Of course, you need more evidence to, actually make a case or anything. More detective work is needed, but it's a great jumping off point for taking this lady from being a distraught friend / victim of the scenario to a core suspect, which, realistically, I'd imagine as a essentially part-time forensics worker, that would be her role, is to just sort of piece together who could be a suspect, not to do the detective work. That's more Chevreus's job or someone else. And that, to get out of that whole detective fiction thing and just get back to the teaser itself more, I like how much of a presence Chevreus has here, because it makes a lot of sense in this part for the cop that we have a character of to play a notable part in the piecing together of the case of a death / murder. I just like that. I like when they use the characters they have at their disposal well, and they actually put them in. I, in a lot of my other reactions, have said how much I enjoy when cameos are done in these, but one thing I've noticed in a lot of the demos and stuff, and this is the case in Emilie's demo, is they'll often throw in a lot of characters into the backgrounds or to just random parts of the demos or teasers, more so just because they can, which I enjoy still as well. I enjoy when the world feels like it's all connected. But really what I am getting at when I say I enjoy cameos with other characters is when there is a slot that can be appropriately filled by a character. For example, Siegeween's character demo, check out my video to see my opinions on that, has predominantly 3 other characters that cameo, being Clorinde, Navia, and Lynette, who are basically offered some tea by Siegeween to try out. That's like medicinal tea or whatever, and it's a whole thing, it's a whole scenario. Watch the demo itself or my reaction to see the details. They're all played to character. They all are exactly doing what they would do. They feel like they are who they are in that scene. They aren't out of character. But there is no reason that it had to be those three. The Siege Wing demo had good use of cameos that didn't even need to be the characters they were. It could have been other characters, it could have been NPCs, it could have been anyone, but they chose it to be cameos for whatever reason. Meanwhile, something like this is a cameo that if you pulled Chevreuse out and inputted another character, you could just do a random NPC, but there is no other playable character that could fit this scenario in Fontaine. Where in the Siege Wing one, you could have slot pretty much anyone from Fontaine into that spot. It could have been just Nouvelette, it could have been a random NPC, it could have been anyone. Cameos are best when they make sense for the character that is a cameo to actually appear. I could get into even more of a whole rabbit hole rant about this in like media in general, but I'm not going to go too much deeper than that. All I want to say is I like that Chevreuse is here. It's a good addition, and I think without her, this would be not like bad, but notably worse, as it just makes it feel like a more concrete, connected world. With that, I don't have too much more to say, as this is a fairly straightforward thing. I can't believe they fucking did the actual just sheen on the glasses move when she's talking all smart like, but you know, it's fun. I like it. So with that, gonna leave it there. I think I've said my piece. Feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment on your thoughts if you agree with me or disagree with me on any of these points, that kind of thing, if you're going to be pulling for Emilie. And I hope you all have a great day. Goodbye.